I'm Michael, welcome. Today we're going to talk about the Coleus plant and how good they are at growing indoors. These are plants that are grown outdoors here in South Florida and other parts of the United States. So, you ready to dig in? Let's grow. The three plants we have here for you are the Redhead. Look at that. It's velvety. The Rusty Coleus, which they call the Trusty Rusty because it is probably one of the first varieties that was mass produced back here 20, 30 years ago. And they call it Trusty Rusty because it's very, very tough. And I'll go into some details about that in a minute. And we have the Florida Sun or Florida Sunrose Coleus. They use it interchangeably, which has some flowers here. This is we just acquired this one recently. It's still in soil. But what I'm going to go now is talk about the plants and their characteristics and some basic care instructions for them. So I'm going to start here with the red, and it's growing in Leca. The Redhead and the Trusty Rusty, we actually got from our friend Leca as a cutting. We just sort of took it as we left her home. By the way, congratulations, Leca. She just had a baby boy. Her and her husband George brought into the new year a new baby boy, and we're very happy for them. But these two were actually a donation from Leca. So thanks to you, Leca. And we had these as, we started these out as in rooted, we took the cutting and we put them in water, and we have videos to these two, and they have done exceptionally well when we transitioned them into Leca. Leca is a semi-hydroponic growing medium. It is a pebble, and we have videos to that. And the Coleus does exceptionally well. It does well in soil, but we wanted to see how well this plant does in it. And we'll zoom in later, but there are just bazillion roots. Not a million, not a billion, bazillion roots, and it loves it. It's growing in basically a partial hydroponic water. There's this clay pebble medium that the roots hang out above this water table level, and some of the roots have adapted to growing down within there. But when we took the cutting in there, it was to about here, and it was all beat up, and it's just put on a ton of new growth. It gets a lot of bright light over here on this bottom shelf, but it doesn't get direct sun. But it is loving living indoors, and by indoors I mean inside a home. This will probably do well on a shaded balcony if you live in a condo or townhome, or you have your screened-in porch. They also grow in full sun outside, and they tend to be a little more vibrant if they get the sun. I personally think they do a little bit better when they get if they're planted under some palms or some trees where it gets some filtered light. But the Trusty Rusty, this one took off as well in Leca. Just gobs and gobs of new roots, and we are just so thrilled. This one is in the same, sorry little guy, same location or same general location. We're on a west-facing wall, but wonderful houseplant. No, growing in Leca, you're not going to get fungus gnats or anything like that, even with all this water, because fungus gnats go to decomposing material in soil. But these are really, really, really cool houseplants. They do extremely well, and you're getting this light green with some red, so you get this contrast with some other houseplants that just tend to have a lot of just dark green. And now, moving over to this one, the Florida Sun Rose. This is planted in soil, and it has almost like this Marty, just I don't know, describe it, like a fireworks of color. Beautiful purples and yellows and some reds and some greens. And this was grown in partial shade at the nursery, but I just saw it and I was like, wow, this is just spectacular. It's beautiful. So what we're probably going to do is take a cutting here from the mother plant and root that in water. And once those roots take, we're going to plant that one in Leca, and we're going to see how both of these do well in the home, soil versus the Leca. Well, we already know that these two do very well in Leca, but we also want to give it a go and see how this plant will react by growing in Leca. We did a test, this is a sidebar here, on this plant actually, this is a pothos, the pearls and jade, and we were testing growing in soil versus Leca, because we're getting some comments and some feedback on people on whether to use the Leca, which are these little clay pebbles. We'll show you some pictures. That how well do certain plants do? We feel that there's some that do better in it. We did some ficus taniki and we moved them into that, and they're doing okay. But the stem being a ficus, that's a ficus taniki growing in soil. But we had some other mail order ones that we put in Leca, and they're doing good. They're doing good, but I think Leca is more attuned to certain plants that can handle and grow their roots through it. I don't know if the ficus is adapting enough to stabilize itself. It's more of a stabilization issue in Leca for some of the plants, but this Pearls and Jade loves Leca. But the other one we compared it to when we did the video was one growing in soil, and that one just died. And they were both taken from rooted cuttings that we put in water and rooted. And now maybe that's just a one-off because pothos is pretty tough. But we found that pothos does well in soil, but very well in Leca as well. And that's something that you could use in helping you decide on what plants you want to put in what growing medium. For fertilizer here, we just use a liquid fertilizer.
20-20-20 with Mike.
Sometimes we'll push up the phosphorus a little bit. And we usually go with a lighter than what's recommended because we don't want to over stress the plant roots and burn them.
Now let's go zoom in for those close-ups.
I think that's about all that I wanted to cover today with you. However, if you have any questions, please just leave them in the comment box below. If I missed something about light or what your conditions at home are, I'd love to know. Love to know if you have some at home and your experience has been. It just helps our whole community grow and grow. Name of our channel. Do better overall. So thanks again for joining us. Bye for now.
If you like what you see, please consider subscribing to our channel and let your friends and family know too.